Hello guys, welcome to SteveKnows. So I want to show you this early preview of Asgard's Wrath 2. I was lucky enough to play it early and show you guys this little teaser and a little review so you know kind of what to expect. This is a meta-funded title developed by Sanzaru Games, and this title is way bigger than I expected. We knew it was going to be big, but the game is just so much more complex and larger than I anticipated. So it has 134 hours of gameplay. We were told about 80, and now they've told us 134 hours. That's the side quest, the dialogue, the exploration, the finding of items. That is jaw-droppingly huge, but it comes with a price tag as well. It is $60 or £45 in the UK, but you're getting a AAA Quest title. Many of you will play this game because you get it free with your Quest 3 as part of the early purchase bundle. And this remains free, by the way, with your purchase of the Quest 3 into January. You don't need to have played the first game to enjoy this one. It does start off with the backstory, so you're familiar with the narrative. At the end of the last game is where you will continue from. So I'm allowed to show you some early footage of the game, and I just want to make it clear that what I'm going to show you and what I'm talking about is not everything the game has to offer. It is so large. So we're starting off with the opening sequence of the game, which you can skip, but why would you when it looks this glorious? It reminded me of I Expect You to Die, that cool opening sequence where you see the world that you'll be inhabiting. And I'm a huge fan of Norse myths and Egyptian myths. It's hammered into us as part of the British educational system, or at least it used to be. I'm not sure if it still is now, but I was saying that the game opens up in this tavern that you've been trapped within, and on the bar is an Egyptian artifact. This causes some rifts across the realms because why is an Egyptian artifact doing in a Norse realm? And then the game kicks you in the absolute teeth to let you know that it is here not to play, but to kick your ass. You're booted from the tavern, and you end up fighting this flying god while your jaw is on the floor, because you just cannot believe that this is playing on the Quest system. The scale of it, the beauty of it, the use of colours in this game is some of the best I've seen on Quest. It then continues with the story after that fight and reveals how you are now able to travel across different realms, and it opens up the game for future expansions and potentially other sequels as well if this game does well, so very exciting. So I'm going to start off talking about the graphics of the game, the scale of it, because it is stunning. I was very often reminding myself that this is playing natively on Quest, standalone hardware, the sheer scale, how large the worlds are, it's so impressive. They were so large that, pre-warning, this may not be the game for you if you work full-time and have a family. If you've only got half an hour in the evenings to play, this game will take you nearly a year to finish with 134 hours of gameplay. And warning as well, the game did start to chug when I was capturing footage. Once my headset was getting full up, it started to chug along. It didn't play well, so make sure that you've got enough space. This is just the curse of owning the 128GB Quest, unfortunately. But it isn't just the visuals that's impressive, although they look amazing, it's the diversity within the game. You'll see what I'm talking about as you see the gameplay behind me and also some of the things that I mention in this video. There's just such variety with absolutely everything you interact with in this game. I don't know how they fitted it in. Well, it is a 31 gig install, at least at the time when I was playing it was, so it does take up a lot of space. So I'm going to touch on Traversal because there's lots of different ways you can get around in this game. So far, I've come across the ability to fast travel. Once you find these checkpoints, you'll be able to fast travel between them, and you'll want to use these because sometimes you'll complete a mission in a realm and you need to get back to another location that's just so far away. Just fast travel and get it over and done with. There's ladders which you can climb up. There's ropes you can slide down. They contain this wrap around them that's like a yellow ribbon, and if you grab this yellow ribbon it will teleport you to the bottom of the ladder or the bottom of the rope. So if you experience motion sickness in VR, it will try and reduce that as much as you possibly can, or you can just be lazy like me and you just want to get down. That's what I used it for anyway. Just grabbed it and just ping. The same thing is true with staircases. You'll see this ribbon at the bottom, just grab it and it will take you to the top of the stairs. So the game has also done a fantastic job if you want to explore as well, because there is also vertical traversal. You can climb walls, find caves, find chests, or secret pathways that you'll have to come back to because they're currently blocked, and you'll get a special ability or a follower that will enable you to get through it. I really enjoyed the climbing. It is super responsive. The way you get up on top of ladders, you don't have that weird, like in Boneworks, you're trying to put it underneath your knees. We have none of that. The vaulting up onto higher ledges as well is really easy. So if you're not experienced with VR, or you just find those things a little annoying to begin with anyway, this game has you catered there. The small nuances of the gameplay, they've really thought about it, even to the point of how you touch your wrist. They've looked into what occlusion occurs when you're trying to activate a compass, and they actually adjusted their build on this. They were given some backstory before they showed us this game, and they've really thought about the user experience when playing this title. As I said, this game is large, and you will soon learn that you just can't simply run around it. It is far too big. So you do eventually unlock something called a follower. Followers, they were in the first game. They kind of act as a companion with special abilities that will help you reach new areas of the map, complete puzzles. They will fight with you in combat, also provide you an additional benefit, such as the first follower that you unlock in this game gives you the ability to sit on her back and ride her. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this. And ride her around the desert, like on the back. It's almost like your horse of the desert, but you're riding a panther. It's so good and fun to get around places. There are less followers in this game than the previous one, but that was done deliberately because they want to give more backstory and depth into these characters so you can form a relationship with them rather than them just being something that you have that's just there to assist you, which I think is honestly a great move. Recently, I've been playing some games and I am feeling the quality over quantity, but this game has both. It's so big. The followers will also assist you in battle. You will need them in battle as well. When you get ambushed, they are so helpful. For you to be able to say, attack this character, well, I'm focusing on somebody else, so it means you're not getting attacked from behind, or it prevents someone with a ranged weapon attacking you as well while you're having close combat. Use it strategically. They are so incredibly helpful, and it adds another layer of strategy to the combat in this game. And the combat is brilliant, so let's touch on it. A huge part of this game is the combat. So many games in VR have a real tough time making good combat. It feels kind of airy and hollow when you're swinging a weapon and you make contact. But in this game, it may be one of the best combat systems I've experienced in VR. It really feels like you're playing God of War sometimes. It really feels like you're having an impact and really doing damage. So your basic loadout, you start off with with your first character, you have a sword and an axe. These weapons you can actually throw. So the axe, you throw it, you can pull it back with a pull gesture, and this axe is like a ranged attack. So you don't have to get up close to people. You can just keep throwing the axe and pulling it back to do as much damage as you possibly can while staying safe. And also with the axe, you can control it mid-flight. So you throw it, you can hold it in the air, and then change its direction at a second's notice. It's so cool. With the sword, you are able to block attacks. You can parry them by knocking them away, which gives you a chance to slice and dice the enemy. And the feeling of how it actually hits them is decent. It's something I've mentioned before in VR. It's something really strange that when you're swinging and you're hitting an enemy in VR, it just doesn't feel right. But I enjoyed it here in this game. It's decent. You can split bodies in half, take off heads, take off limbs. You're not simply just hitting someone and they're disappearing or falling to the floor with a copy and paste animation. But you can also add abilities to your weapons as well. You find these ruins that you can put inside your weapon if they have a slot available. And what this does is it adds an ability to your weapon. So once the meter is filled up, you can hold your sword into the sky. The sky kind of lights up and you get like a lightning bolt, some magical mana dispersed all over the place, some cool lighting effects to make it feel like you're powerful and that you've got godlike powers, and you then have a more powerful weapon to do more damage. And also sometimes you can stagger an enemy, or if they're about to do a really big attack, you will see a weak point on them. And if you attack them quickly enough, you can do some serious damage by hitting that weak spot. One of my favorite things to do is you can also knock back projectiles, which is such a pro move if you're trying to keep out of danger, just staying back and knocking back swords that are being thrown at you, arrows, magic abilities, knock them back and do damage that way. But the enemy's AI in this is also so smart. So, for example, example, it will catch on to your techniques and switch up their strategy. So staying at a range and throwing your axe, eventually they will start storming you and closing the gap. Or they will catch your axe and throw it back at you so you can no longer use that move. So you have to change your approach as well. So there is so much nuance to the combat. I'm still finding more as I play. I'm just scratching the surface, but you can get an idea of how detailed the game is. Not just how detailed and how stunning it looks, not just how much variety there are in the materials, the armor, the weapons, the enemies, but also the combat system. You also have potions and ailment items too to help you here, such as a health potion, of course. You'll pop off the lid and you'll drink it like a shot or a pint. Or you have a resurrection potion, which when an enemy is down, you'll take the lid off and just chuck it at them, and you can create these by finding resources around the map. So for things like potions, you want to look for vegetation. These are lotus flowers, thyme, berries, mushrooms. Well, I don't think they're called mushrooms, but they look like mushrooms. Grab them if you come across them so you can create these potions. You'll also want to collect things like animal skins, metals, and coins. There are so many materials around, and you don't know what they're going to be needed for, because I've only just started playing the game, and I keep finding more things as I play. The game also gives you some ways to express yourself with character customization. You can change your suits of armor, so you can change the way that your character looks, and there is some badass armor in this title. Gosh, the styling in this game is fantastic, and you can find this in your inventory menu. You can also change your loadout here, and you can have 2 weapons on your back, perhaps a shield, and you can have 2 weapons on your side on your holster. In this menu, you'll also find things like a skill tree, which will enable you to increase your strength or in-game skills, so it feels like you're progressing as a character. There is heavy RPG elements in this title. And use this wisely, because sometimes you'll come across an enemy, they have a level rating above their head, and this tells you how strong they are. And sometimes they are a lot stronger than you, but if you have the right abilities and the right skills, and you've developed enough so you can know how to play the game well, you'll come out on top. You can also apply these skill upgrades to your followers as well, not just yourself, to improve their abilities that help you outside of combat and in combat. But this game is not just about the combat and exploration, it's also chock-a-block full of puzzles. And these puzzles are brilliant because they're designed in a way that you assist yourself. Puzzles in VR, I think, never get enough credit, but this style of play is so good. It's almost like a completely new game within a game. So you go into God mode, and you can move huge structures, and then you'll switch back to your character, and you can move, you can climb and explore, or use what your God-like self has provided you with. It's a really nice change of pace, because sometimes you're walking for ages across the desert, sometimes you're engaging in lots of combat, and to take a step back and just have a moment was really welcome. Although some of the puzzles I'm sure you will get very frustrated with. What I really liked about it as well was that when you're in the godlike view, you can look down at the world and have a new perspective. You then switch back to your character and you're small again, and then you can see the scale of everything. It's really quite a nice dynamic. This game has even more to offer. I keep saying it, that I'm just scratching the surface here. This is no joke. But I wanted to give you an overview of what to expect, what I've experienced. This is definitely the biggest, most detailed, stunning game on the Quest system. I'm completely blown away with it. I'm sure all the other reviews you're going to see feel the same way. I haven't discussed this with anybody, but you do need to invest time into it, especially if you want to follow all of the lore, get into the character backstories. There's 134 hours worth of content. That is a lot. I really do think the price tag is justified with this title. It's quite expensive, but these sorts of games are what we want in VR. If you have any more questions, let me know down below. I'll try and respond to them if it's something that I can share. I need to get back into this game. So guys, have a great week. Happy gaming. Good day.